In 1972, English music hall art pop band Stackridge released their second album, Friendliness, and from it, the somewhat sad but heartwarming epic Syracuse the Elephant. Okay, already we so far we have a pretty stately intro, just rising chords, all in just everyone kind of playing together. Nothing really, no one really playing against one another so far, but well, the intricacy will unfold. Perhaps the most prominent sound that we heard initially was a bit of like subtle violin. No, by Mike Evans. Okay, right there we just heard the makings of the melody, the introduction of what will ultimately be the main melody of the chorus. Yeah, that da da na 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 na. Some pretty grand drum rolls right there. Yeah, they don't do many songs, this band, with such lengthy intros.
Syracuse the elephant wanders around, never bothers anyone, lies on the ground.
Syracuse the Elephant, never bothers anyone, lies on the ground.
Eats his trees and giant leaves, keeps to himself.
Eats his trees and giant leaves, keeps to himself. So so far it's kind of sad. It's about a lonely elephant, who in captivity, I guess not around other elephants.
Remembers herbal niceties he finds in the veldt. Oh, leave me alone, I want to go home.
Oh, leave me alone. I want to go home. So I guess they're imagining that he wants to return to nature. He wants to return to the African wild.
Leave me alone, I want to go home. Don't take my breath away.
Don't take my breath away. The I gotta say, I'm not sure about how things were in 1972, but these days, I would imagine that elephants are safer, like in some of those elephant sanctuaries that have been built, like in California or somewhere, than they would be in the African wild at this point.
Don't take my
Don't take my friends away. It's been a while since I've seen the lyrics to this one. I need to look them up.
And I'm bred in Bristol Zoo, brought up on sweets. His keeper was a specialist who came down from Leeds.
His keeper was a specialist who came down from Leeds.
He fed him well and curled his tail, making a show.
Oh, don't take my herbs away. Huh. Okay, so far the second chorus, born and bred in Bristol Zoo, brought up on Swedes. His keeper was a specialist brought down from Leeds. He fed him well and curled his tail, making a show, but Syracuse the elephant still wanted to go. Okay, so he's being trained for the circus now.
Syracuse the elephant still wanted to go. Oh, leave me alone, I want to go home. Oh.
I gotta say, as a lifelong Portlander, I live very nearby some rather historic American-born elephants. A few years ago was the passing of, I guess, the first elephant, who in 1962 was like the first elephant born in American captivity, I think in the 20th century. And in the late 2000s, two further elephants were born. I think grandchildren of, yeah.
Leave me alone, I want to go home.
As a matter of fact, I think the elephant born at the Portland Zoo in 2008 may have been the first elephant born in U.S. captivity in several decades. Yes, Sumatra. Although there have been some born at other zoos since then. Yeah.
Don't take my hurts away. Don't take my hurts away.
Okay, I guess instrumentally, the violin is making some subtle strides. The drums are taking command at choice moments. And the flute is kind of, I think the flute, more than anything, is perhaps going to represent Syracuse. The flute played by the rather unique Mutter Slater. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder where he came up with that name. Beautiful. That do you hear that mellotron coming in? Mellotron piano. Yeah, that. Minor key, going into kind of like a chamber type section, yeah. Violin, piano, bit of mellotron, bass. They did a few passages like this. Actually, they explored this territory a bit more on their fifth album, Mr. Mick. This is pretty unique for them around on the first four albums, though. Actually, there was one track they did the second they did a cover. Gordon Haskell was briefly in the band, like circa 1974-75, and while he was with them, they covered his "No One's More Important Than the Earthworm" that he originally cut himself on his 1971 album "It Is and It Isn't," and it has some of that feel, like because he of course was bringing a bit of that like Lizard. King Crimson's Lizard album influence into the band, and this kind of presages that that influence in the band to a degree. The beauty of it all, the main active ingredient is the piano, those chords, dun, 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 minor keys, because we're going now. Bear in mind that this, I think, is supposed to represent a sad part of the story. It's like this is Syracuse just kind of wandering alone, lying alone, wishing he could be free, not wanting to be part of a circus and being kind of in a world like not around other elephants, feeling alone and misunderstood. It's basically rocking back and forth between two chords, A minor and E minor. Maybe with a seventh thrown in here and there. love the way the violin's kind of like fluttering upward. Okay, now we're about to go into something else because we just landed on a different key, B. He's about to have, there's about to be a change in the plot. Kind of a waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of like a music box dancer feel. This, I think, is supposed to represent the circus. This. Yeah, he's performing stunts before a crowd, and the flute is getting really cute here. Yeah, that's the trumpeting of the elephant. That kind of that somewhat harpsichordy sound from the keyboards aren't specified. Okay, now some sitars are in the mix. Now we're in yet another like sequence of events. This is supposed to represent another stop in the tour, maybe overseas, maybe to a more exotic destination. Yeah, I think Syracuse does end up traveling the world. A great variation of the passage that we were hearing before, because it's kind of like a variation of the chords and all, but very, very different, like, arrangement nonetheless and feel. Yeah, that whole Indian vibe. Yeah, I'm picturing carpets and all that. Incense. Jade Boyer would have been proud of this section, or like a quintessence. Maybe not Jade Warrior, but actually this kind of reminds me of that track on Prologue by Renaissance. Okay, and let's see how things resolve for Syracuse.
Syracuse the Elephant, remember his name, and you won't forget about his fortune and fame.
Syracuse the Elephant, remember his name, then you won't forget about his fortune and fame. They shipped him to America to star and reign, and now he lives in Hollywood with Tarzan and Jane.
They sent him to America to star and to reign, and now he lives in Hollywood with Tarzan and Jane. Oh, leave me alone, I want to go home. Oh.
This song actually has me wondering how many elephants are in England, or were in England. Yeah, how many are there now? I know that you can look up. I once Googled the question, how many elephants are in the United States? And it was, I guess it had been, and before I was even done typing, it came as a pull down option. So it's a frequently asked question, and there was an exact answer on Yahoo. So they have like a registry for that. And the number was like 270, as it like back when the answer was given or something. Back in 2010. Hear that mellotron? Oh, mellotron and flute. Oh, a sad yet kind of happy ending song. Well, a cute, slightly sad, but ultimately happy, playful, happy ending, playful number. Syracuse the Elephant by Stackridge from the band's 1972 release Friendliness, their second of 5 albums released between 1971 and 1976. Yeah, they would ultimately go on their following album, Pinafore Days, The Man in the Bowler Hat, to work with George Martin, and then they would have a few lineup changes. Gordon Haskell would be a member at one point, and ultimately when they folded, 2 of the members, and Andy Davis and James Warren would form the pop act Corgis and release 3 albums between 1979 and 1981. Of like kind of new wave tinged art pop, and ultimately have a big hit in 1980 with a song that I guess is still an evergreen in some markets, although I've never heard on the radio. Everyone's Gotta Learn Sometime, as well as another song, All the Love in the World, that was covered by Janice Siegel on her the Manhattan Transfer on her 1982 solo album. Experiments in White. Anyway, yeah. But those are topics for another video. Anyway. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Stackridge, see the directory of albums by English S artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the song we just heard, the arrangement, the layers, the interplay, the sequence of different movements throughout the piece. Which was your favorite? We had the song proper, or we had the lengthy intro, we had the song proper, verse and chorus, we had that really beautiful kind of melancholy chamber section of piano and violin. Then we had that kind of music box kind of like section, and then kind of like ballerina section, and then we had the kind of more like exotic section, and then finally we had a recapitulation of the song. So quite a lot to take in there. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most dear travel tramexmost, signing off.